Hey, we're back.
We're back.
We are excited to be with you for another installment of Leadership and. I'm John, and I'm here with Dr. Edna Jones-Miller, and we are excited to bring back to you another installment of Leadership and Courageous Conversation. And so we are a coaching and consulting firm dedicated to personal growth and leadership development of oneself as a parent, as a spouse, and as a leader. And we're excited about the conversation that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to go in. We're going to go in today just because of the topic, leadership and courageous conversations.
Yeah. So, in short, I hate them. I
like them. They have to happen.
I do not like courageous conversation, and he knows it. So much so to let's just switch to as a spouse. I don't argue, which is something that I'm working on. Of course, articulating myself even in the midst of anger, but I just have a bad habit of just withdrawing and just getting very quiet and silent.
And that bothers me because I like to have the conversation. Hey, where did I go wrong? Where did we go wrong? Let's address the matter. But for me, I have to give her time to process. I have to give her moment and her space to just withdraw, to prepare herself to come back for the conversation. So we find a pretty good balance as spouses when there's a courageous conversation that has to happen. So
as spouses. And I'm working on it. So y'all pray with me. But
I'm working on it too to give her the space as well.
But as leaders, I think, some of those characteristics can also just sort of bleed over into our leadership. And so as I started out by saying, I hate courageous conversations, even as a leader. But I have learned with time, and really I've learned a lot from my husband, that you have to have them. You don't like them. You don't want to do it. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Right. I'm just like a can't we all just get along kind of person. This is simple. It's not that serious. Why can't we just get to the resolution and get over it? But you really have to work through those conversations, and you have to take the time to have them. And I've learned with time that the longer you wait, the more it festers and the more it acts kind of like a cancer, and things start to build up. And that the quicker you address the issue, the better it is for the situation. I don't know, how do you approach that?
No, I like that approach just because the wait gives you an opportunity to prepare yourself for the conversation. You have all the content and the information that you want to share during that courageous conversation. So the wait is not necessarily bad, but the prolonged wait, you don't want things to go along and fester beyond a week or 2 weeks just because we know it's still out there and it has to be addressed. But, give yourself a few days before bringing members to the table to address the matter. But, anything longer than a week and there's a problem, that's going to create dynamic issues and problems within the organization or within your team. So the longer you wait, but the wait is not the problem, but, giving yourself some time to address what needs you have to work on internally, giving yourself enough time to pull all the information together so that you can have the courageous conversation. Just to give you all a little bit of context, I am a school administrator in K through 12, and she's a higher ed administrator as well at the college level. And so we deal with courageous conversations often. And so we've both been in our careers for almost 20 years. And so, 20 years.
Yes, I can't believe that.
20
but
years.
Please keep going.
And so we've had varying conversations with individuals, whether it's us being an administrator having a conversation with colleagues to bring a resolution, or us as a supervisor having a conversation with a subordinate to create change and adjust the conflict so that we can continue to have a great workflow. We can continue to have collegiality and morale in the workplace. So it's a necessary conversation that has to happen.
Yeah. And let me just say, I have learned so much from you. I mean, because just the grace and the poise and the courage and the boldness and the efficiency that it takes to have a strategic, courageous conversation to understand the issue that is at hand, to be objective, to not allow emotions to get not necessarily not to let them get involved, but not to let them get in the way. Because of course you have to be empathic. You have to understand other people's perspective. You've got to be sympathetic in some instances to really understand how they're feeling. But he is really good at being even-tempered and just kind of doing his best to level the playing field. And that is something that I really had to learn with time, because as I mentioned before, my natural inherent response is just to shut down.
Right.
It's just to get quiet and just to shut down. But now I'm more so, it's not that I'm shutting down. I get quiet because I'm contemplating, and I am really thinking about the strategic use of words to ensure that I don't make the situation worse than when we started. So now, instead of withdrawing, and I'm, talking about in the workplace, I'm still working on as a wife. Sometimes I still get quiet, but in the workplace,
right.
I'm contemplating and really trying to make sure that I understand all sides, that I'm able to be objective, that I have really sort of put my emotions to the side and trying to make sure that I am being fair. And so I've learned all those things really from him, and how he has navigated in his leadership journey and all of the things that that he sort of addressed and approached at this point. So, talk to me about how you got to this place of being so, let's just say, objective and even-tempered.
So for me, my background in sports, I love teamwork. I love collaboration. I love working with people. So when there's a conflict, my hope and my goal is, hey, let's resolve the matter. Let's work through it so that we can get back to our team objectives, our team goals, and our aspirations as a group in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I notice that there's conflict, I'm always the person that's saying, hey, let's have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's seek a resolution. Let's see how we can work through whatever concern. Now, granted, these individuals, they may not be buddies and friends, but what I need these individuals to do is respect themselves and understand that we are in a place of service. We are in a place of work where we're offering a service to whether it's a parent, a student, or a partner. So we got to put aside our differences and keep the goal at mind, which is bringing a resolution at the center of the conversation. So when we have these conversations, I say, hey, this is my outcome. This is my resolution, and this is what we need to get through.
So you start from the end.
Yeah, with the end in mind.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
So you begin with the end in mind, and making known what your intents are, what your anticipated outcome should be, and then kind of what your plan is for getting them there.
Right.
If you kind of heard those steps I was
And so to. I give both parties an opportunity to share their side of the story so that each person feels like they are heard. And I am just there to be the facilitator and the one to ensure that, hey, if we need to take a breather, let's pause. Let's breathe.
Yeah.
And throughout the process, I'm maintaining composure, and I'm encouraging them to maintain composure as well, because conversations can be very heated, very frustrating, very upsetting. But I reiterate the expectations at the beginning. We're going to be cordial. We're going to be polite. We're going to be civil as we have this dialogue.
Yeah.
This is not a conversation where we're not going to be berating each other or demeaning each other. So we got to make sure you level the playing field. Hey, this is how it's going to go. You're going to speak. You're going to speak. We're going to hear each other out. And then we're going to work through our differences.
And I think so, and what he's talking about, that's really good in the workplace and in other contexts. So, with Wealth and Wisdom, we talk about our roles as individuals and as spouses and as parents and as leaders, and notice the order in which we say those things. And there's a reason for that. And we'll get to that in another video, but there is a priority and an order. But you can use that same approach in different contexts. So you can use that as a parent, and you can use that as a leader and as a spouse, and working on, the objectivity and starting with the end in mind, beginning with the end in mind of what you want the outcome of the conversation to be, how you think you're going to get there, and really sort of mapping out and being strategic to make sure that things don't just blow up. So
Right.
not just in the workplace, but you can also use those skill sets in other contexts. So it looks like we are at our time, and that went like really, really fast. But of course, you can catch us on our website at wealthandwisdomlive.com, on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. You can also email us at info@wealthandwisdomlive.com. And until next time, may you be inspired to live richly every day.
Take care.
Take care.